But trust me, this is true. When you put all of your energy into you, everyone else will feed off it. That is the ripple effect. You will literally radiate with energy and excitement and passion and flying, and you're like, I ran a half marathon last weekend. It was amazing. I tried this thing, but I failed at it, but it was fucking awesome. And people, everyone around you, your kids, if you have kids, other people, strangers, will all feed off your energy. They'll want to be around you, and they don't want to be around someone that's in their cage as a victim. Okay, so welcome back, and we want to know how to get out of this cage. And the silly thing is, it's way easier than we think. You know, I've heard a lot of stories about people going through their toughest traumas in their life. And you know the thing that actually turned it around for them? And there's an interesting thing, is there was one moment in almost all cases where it was a decision and a choice to let go of the past, let go of the pain. A lot of these rocks are things in the past. They're stories from our childhood or the past that are holding us back every single day. You know, I know people that won't swim anymore because they were scared of something that happened 30, 40 years ago, and they won't ever go to a swimming pool, for example. You know, this is a classic case, and all of us have many of these ties. But the actual stepping out of the cage is easier than we think. It's a choice. And so this whole video, I want to talk about choice and control. You know, there's a funny thing I was going to do here is, what if this cage wasn't even locked? What if that cage was open all of the time for us to step out? I really want you to think about any experiences or rocks in your own life, things that hold you back, and, you know, is it possible that you can look at a brand new perspective here and think, is there a way I can actually just step out and let it go, let the stuff go? The rocks tied to the cage, just let them go. Could it be that easy? Like, how can it be that easy if it's especially a tough trauma? But I've known many people that have actually got to that stage and they've done it. And it was usually because the pain of staying this spinning round and cage person and not being themselves. There's an amazing balloon. The USU. I always like that phrase, because not many of us are the USU, the most authentic us. We have many layers of ego, of how we're supposed to be to impress others and talk to others. You know, we even talk to other people in these pre-made sentences that we're supposed to say, right? We're not the USU, and that's one of the biggest things that will drive us forward when we get out of the cage. But the only person that can get you out of the cage is you. But I want you to know it's possible, very possible. It's simpler than you think. And sometimes it takes stepping out of that cage as a choice, an internal choice, and then repetitively reinforcing that choice, you know, staying out of the cage. Some people get out and they get straight back in. Can you get out, or can you leave a few rocks behind and make the weight of this cage so light that you can actually turn off? You're still kind of spinning, but you're starting to fly. Or can you? It's very possible you can just step out, grab your balloons, and you can fly. But it takes consistency, and it takes these. That's why we talk about powerful vision to habits to drive us forward. And just before we move past these rocks, I want you to really think about this question. Which ones of these are you choosing? You know, many we've been given. Sometimes we have something that holds us back that came from childhood or a long time ago, and it wasn't our fault. But which ones are you choosing? You know, many of us wake up in the morning and we turn over and roll our phones and we look through social media and then we feel kind of down, you know. Or can you choose something like a meditation or a workout in the morning to make you feel alive, or play your guitar? You know, can you choose a balloon in the morning versus something that makes you feel shitty, takes your energy away first thing in the morning? Because so many of us do this first thing in the morning, Do you have intention for the day? Do you have a list of habits that you want to achieve, or micro goals or something like that that make you alive? Or are you just going to live on the random stuff, the random rocks that the world throws at you? Because there's a ton of fear out there. There's a ton of advertising. There's a ton of you need to buy this to be happy. You need that to be happy. It's every single where, and it always will be. That's the advertising world. So if you're focused on this, there'll be tons of it. So which ones are you choosing to focus on? I say that word with a lot of power because choosing is going to be the root of so much of your power. You know, when you realize you can choose balloons or rocks, you'll be a powerful, powerful person, and you'll be the youest you, and everything will click and everything will become easier. So what does getting out of the cage look like? Well, this is what it looks like. Okay, here's my running guy, my running lady. Okay, and we have our balloons. I'm going to head over here a second. We have our balloons. And we have our powerful vision, and we have our you balloon, the youest you. We have our powerful vision towards something. We're excited about life. We're excited to wake up in the morning. Okay. Now, what happens to the rocks? And these other ones can be whatever you want. You know, the more awareness of what lights you up, the more powerful vision you have, you'll find you'll have many, many balloons to head towards. Like so many that you don't know where to even start sometimes. But now you're free. You've stepped outside of that cage. And a whole other video, we'll dig into that. Actually, in the next course, we'll talk more about something called letting go, which is very extremely powerful for resilience. We actually take an action. We'll talk a lot more about the fears that held you in that cage, the fake fears. They're very much a mindset-based thing, and how to actually work through some of those fears to actually help you get out of the cage a lot easier. But what happened to the rocks? You know, they're still there. They're still in your past, but they're way back here. You might have one or two still attached to you. You know, you probably still got many layers of ego kind of holding down your legs a little bit. They might slow you down a little bit. But what you've done to these is you've managed to cut them off, or you've managed to let them go. And you can move forward. So they're still there, you know, the traumas of your past, the pain of our past, you know, the brokenness. There's nothing wrong with being broken and having crazy stories in our past. These are now stories which are beautiful. You can say I overcame these, and now I'm flying towards all of these incredible things. And this didn't stop me. And so this is a really powerful analogy about resilience, of how quickly can you figure out how to cut a tie. Okay? So when you blame someone for doing wrong by you, let's say you get cheated on, or at the end of a relationship, you know, and you hang on to this for years and years and years and years, you are damaging you. You are holding back you into your cage. So it's your own choice. You're not damaging the other person that did wrong to you. You are holding back you. So if you can figure out how to cut the tie, how to let go, perfectionism, judgment, things like this, you're going to be free. You're going to be flying. And these will be the beautiful stories of your past that you'll tell your grandkids, and it will be something you're actually very, very proud of. Like, I went through this and I cut the ties and I flew. These were the teachers. And another bit about these is these past memories are gold. They have treasures under the rocks. I might as well draw that because I just made it up. They have treasures under there, trust me. But no one ever looks, or not many people look for the treasures. But there's gold under there, trust me. Look under the rocks. And what can I learn from those experiences? You know, cut the tie and find the treasure, and you will fly. Just made that up. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you for bearing with me with these cage and rock and balloon videos. They're very interesting to me because so many people live these experiences and are stuck in that cage, and we want to focus our energy and our passion onto this. And one more massive, massive, massive thing. I've lived and breathed this. I've seen it happen. To my surprise, we'll all feed off your energy. They'll want to be around you. And they don't want to be around someone that's in their cage as a victim. I'm glad I came back to remember victim, because that's a huge thing. When you choose to be a victim, again, a choice. No one really wants to be around you for an extended period of time. If anyone wants to be around you, it's other victims. When you're like this, you will literally radiate and fly. So thank you. I'll see you in the next video.